Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Sorry about that. It's like you got to get really good at clicking buttons on this thing, which is fantastic. I had a system down there, but apologize for the later notice. Instead of my normal 8:30 time, it's 8:45. We had a little meeting there, a little chiropractic one, which was kind of cool. Sometimes the state will actually do some classes and stuff, and this one's like a little hour one, so I didn't want to miss it. It was pretty good. It was talking about AI in business, and anytime in the health of being a business person in any facet of the world, you want to make sure that you give yourself the best health chances as you can, and if AI kind of helps with those systems and processes, then that's what place the AI could be, right? So, are we all into AI? I don't know. I don't know if I'd pick up the process there as far as like making sure that we go, in health and well-being yet. But there are times when it's very useful for things like a chiropractor writing up. Let's say a marketing flyer or something, right? So something you don't necessarily need a total pro at, but if you saw a chiropractor do it, then you probably would be like, that is a little crazy. I'll give you an example. The one that I heard one time, it was a marketing guy, and he was, he's basically a patient of all chiropractors, but he niched out and did very specific. He does like websites and, signage and designs and those kind of things for chiropractors. So that's what he built his company on. One of the things he found fascinating was, and I always thought this was so funny, like a new chiropractor is so excited. They want to see as many children or kids as they can, because that's really the lifeblood of innate intelligence, And so when those cells, the cells of your human body, it's like the perfect time to integrate those into a really good functioning spine and nervous system. And one of the things that a lot of chiropractors do, because we just came out of chiropractic school, is to put a little baby spine right next in the waiting room somewhere. And people that have never been to a chiropractor, this is shocking, because a lot of times you hear it a lot. And some people go on once, they don't understand it. It might have helped, it might have hurt, maybe that kind of thing. But only like 8 to 10% of the entire population actually goes to chiropractors, which for some of you, it'll be shocking that way. But yeah, so we put this little spine in the waiting room, and the marketing guy, if you've never been to a chiropractor, which is 90% of the population, is going to be like, what did they do? Why did they have a baby spine in the waiting room, right? So that was always in my head as far as understanding, like maybe your understanding of your business is not the greatest marketing tools. Like you want to find people that don't know a lot about your business and ask them what they would think would, get people in there. But so I always thought that was interesting, like especially doctors trying to market. It's like, they got inundated with all this anatomy and physiology. They think it's cool. You might not, though. You don't want to see a spine out in the middle of a thing. You think of the old video game in my heyday, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was a pretty nasty fighting game that was pretty hilarious. But so welcome tonight to the whole Whole Health Weekly. Tonight we go over whatever's trending or hot in health and wellness, and we try to find the different trending topics, and we kind of discuss them and see does it fit into the whole holistic paradigm, or is it one of those things that maybe that's not so good for you, right? So there's been a lot in 2025 in general. You've had from GLP-1 to different fastings to a lot of those things. And a lot of my Whole Health Weeklies, we go into a lot of those. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on those two particular, because if you want to ever watch my recordings, because I'm up to 70 people, make me 71, guys. Make it 71. I have a Rumble channel. It's called The Prize Inside. If you haven't heard Rumble, it's just like YouTube, but they don't censor things as much. But Rumble's kind of nice. It's like a free app on your phone. You don't have to do anything. But I'm trying to build that because it seems like a really, really good place for everybody to kind of go. Because my overall goal is I'd love to have just a nice, even on a night where I could have just multiple conversations with people. And tonight is that way. So if you have any questions, put it in the chat. I'll see all of them pretty much. I think I get everybody's. so in this little chat stream. So remember the Rumble app, okay? The Prize Inside. We are on YouTube. We are on YouTube at it's at The Prize Inside You. And so I'll put that one in there. And then we have the last one. Oh, Rosie's getting mad behind me. So then we have our podcast version. Our podcast version's on everything: Apple's, Spotify, all the places you get a podcast is in there. That we do pretty good on. Like I'm up to like 4,200 downloads. So I'm pretty proud of that, just because I wanted to build organically. I want to build this group with just the content, and hopefully you guys will like it enough to keep growing it. And then our last thing I do is tribe1.substack.com. Wow, Rosie. Stop it. Tribe1.substack.com. I'll show you the little stinker that's making all kinds of noise in about a second. So tribe1.substack.com is an email website that you'll get notifications when I go on, what time those are. Like tonight I had to send out a little email, hey, I'm at 8:45 instead of 8:30. So and that one, I'm hoping I get good at it where I can actually like link some articles that we even talk about tonight. So what our first thing tonight I would like to do is I always do a chiropractic quote. And so tonight, all right. Okay, so this one's a quote from Hippocrates. Okay, so I always like a chiropractic or some kind of health, why chiropractic is what it is, and why the philosophy and the mindset of holistic is so important. And this one comes to this. Hippocrates was a lot of time before chiropractic was, but this is what the quote is from Hippocrates. So it's the natural healing force within each one of us is the greatest force in getting well. The natural force within each one of us is the greatest force in getting well. And that's really what the whole holistic aspect of everything is. Okay. So remember that as we go. I always love doing some kind of chiropractic quote. In my first 33 episodes of Whole Health Weekly, you can listen to the 33 chiropractic principles, which are amazing. So, hello, Julie. Oh, good. I liked it. Yeah. So our last one on Sunday was stinging nettles. Okay. So stinging nettles. Oh my God. It was so enlightening. So, I did this registered herbalist thing. And of course, you cannot know every herb that's out there. There's a lot of people that might think of different ones, but what I'm doing is there's two parts. One, I'm doing it selfishly, doing these podcasts so I learn the different herbs as well. And as I teach you, I learn it more, right? And so stinging nettles was fantastic. Allergies, antihistamine. There's not a lot of herbs out there that do antihistamine. Found out after this that my little Amish herbal place called Chups, that's right down the road from us, not too far. Their all season one that we carry. We actually carry an all season herb has stinging nettle in it. And I thought that was really cool. So if you ever want to watch the description, and like Julie said, we put some some recipes in the back of that talk, that presentation. So if you're interested, get on that Rumble channel, go watch it again. It's totally worth it. So thank you, Julie, for the reminder. That stinging nettle was good. And bring up anytime you want another herb talked about. We will do it, because that was really good for me as well. So, and it was a weed. Guys, we can grow the weeds. These could be a garden that you don't even care about. That's what's so cool. Like, you can find stinging nettle and kind of not even look at it, and it'll grow for you, and then you could do something with it. Think about how fascinating that is. Anyway, so let's talk to our AI, figure it out. What is the latest and greatest health and social media? I don't get tons on social media for a lot of these things, so I try to get ahead of it because I don't know. So that's where Gina helps me out. This week there wasn't a ton that me and her talked about. So we kind of talked about one thing, and I'll bring that up later. Like some of the beauty. Okay, so let's bring it up now because it's worth it. I'm very concerned, in a sense, in our health and holistic, that we're intermingling basically sick care type situations to holistic. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of like things in the beauty category that are extremely, extremely dangerous and bad for you. People are those kind of situations. I'm not going to name the procedures, but there's some that are using toxins literally, to beautify somebody. Okay. And one of the things that happens is there's massive problems. There's one that a certain type of injection to beautify things has been now linked to massive brain problems. And the reason I was telling Gina that is occurring is because what they're injecting is a toxin. So when that toxin is coming in and basically killing off nerve supply, all of those things. Once you inject yourself, though, you're filling your body with scar tissue in that area. So you always have to remember, too, something I learned a long time ago. If you cut yourself in a field, like a cornfield, the scar tissue formation or the scar gets ripped. So the skin actually gets ripped, and that's natural. It's on purpose. And what happens is, because it's not a perfectly precise incision, it will actually heal better and stronger than a surgical incision. Okay. When we put things into us from the outside in, including injections, including toxic injections, no matter what it looks like in the mirror, you're doing damage to things. And there's no doubt some of these things are going to have effects. And so I just try to tell people, stick to natural beauty, work on the inside, working on the thoughts, the toxins, and the traumas of our daily lives, right? Because if we can get rid of bad thoughts, toxic things that either are in our environment or, we eat or any of those things, and traumas, if we try to take it easy, live life in a good way, enjoy movement, those kind of things. Because, trauma is also not doing anything, right? So there's definitely a balance there. But, focusing on that's the true holistic approach. And so think of it all the time. Is it something from the outside that I'm taking in to improve the condition? If it is, then you have to really think, is this a move that's going to help my innate intelligence be better than it was before? Okay. So that was just the soapbox piece. It's been around for a really long time. It's just really, really popular in a lot of places, and a lot of people are paying a lot of money for it. But it's just sometimes, is the risk worth the reward? We got to think that way. So anyway, so let's talk about some trends this week from the social media and the mainstream media. All right. So this is still in there. So hyper-personalized wellness via tech and biomarkers. We haven't talked about this for a while, so let's do it. Wearables, AI apps, blood panels, DEXA scans, DNA testing are exploding, enabling tailored nutrition, sleep, and fitness plans. Mainstream reports highlights this it could be a $2 trillion market driver, which is huge. And it shows regular scans leading to ditching alcohol and sugar for better choices. The wellness tech is really cool. It really, really is. The problem is like if we go into it like we normally do. So right now we have the sick care model where we only do things when we're sick. The problem with that is we only do things when we're sick. So the things are bio-tracking and biomarking things when we have problems. Okay. And so one of the things that happens is in our brain, we can have thought problems, like bad thoughts. Okay. So one of the things I warn about all the time, if you're having a wearable that can check your blood pressure all the time, and you're wearing that, and you lift a log. Okay. So if you lift a tree limb, and let's say this thing, because I don't know if they do this yet. I don't know if watches do like a blood pressure monitor or anything. But let's say it could map that. Okay. So all of a sudden you lift this tree limb that's super heavy. Okay. Body's feeling good about it, but it's super heavy. What happens to your blood pressure? It goes up. It has to. It's nature. Okay. There's a reason there's an up and down blood pressure. There's a reason your body has to go up and down. Now, if we're constantly tracking this stuff, what can occur? A psychological problem. Literally, I had a patient that was checking their blood pressure 13 times a day, 20 times a day, causing themselves what? Anxiety. And when you start causing yourself anxiety because all of a sudden your blood pressure's up, what happens to your blood pressure? You're in this, what they call fight or flight. So your blood pressure is naturally going to go up. And so one of the things that we have to watch is we have to use it possibly as a tool, but also understand it more than what we're doing. Okay. So a lot of these AIs and all those things, Dr. Matt and I were talking about, there's some AI that's kind of putting you into a meditative state. One of the problems is, what's the trade-off? If I have an AI Bluetooth headphone set with all these different things, what is that the best? Not really, because you have EMF, remember the electromagnetic frequency radiation? My youngest daughter's learning computers right now. And her teacher's really, really cool. And he's also got a little bit of crazy like her father does. So I said, hey, ask him about electromagnetic frequency and see what he says. Because I swear, now I'm not going to say, so you can get this on Amazon and I've seen it work. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but we talk about electromagnetic frequency coming off of phones, off of computers, off of LED lights, right? So a lot of those things, it's proven that there can be some damage to your cells. Now it's minor damage, so you're not going to notice it over time, but like little toxins will get you. It's kind of like Aaron Smith from the 180 podcast says, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? So EMF beats on you, right? And then your cells get damaged, and that's what you can do. Now, I think there might be a slight solution. I've got one myself because I'm trying it, experimenting, but it worked. We had a radiation meter, and I put this certain rock in between the computer and myself. Okay. So it's going to sound so woo, but it's called shungite. Shungite is supposedly, I don't know, right? I didn't see any data on it. Supposedly actually absorbs EMF. Now, whether this radiation frequency meter, showed me the real thing or not, I don't know. So just for thought process, shungite, it seems interesting. Now, when I first got it, I put it around my neck. And then it actually said, don't wear it all the time because it can cause skin irritation. So what you want to do is wear like clothes underneath so that the rock doesn't touch you, because for some reason it actually, you could feel it a little bit. So I don't know yet. I'm going to experiment with it though before I really get on that. So remember the AI stuff. It's going to come. It's going to come fast. There's going to be some huge health benefits because it might keep track of like your workouts and your food and all kinds of cool stuff, right? But use it as a tool, not as something that's like totally diagnostic, because we don't need to be diagnosing ourselves any more than what what the computer internet has done to people's brains on looking up conditions. Okay. That makes me nervous, because who's going to pay? How do you know that, the AI you're paying attention to, or the search engine you're paying attention to, isn't paid off to show you the wrong answer or the most profitable answer for the person that paid? I hope that makes sense. Okay. So just remember that when you're looking at AI, because that's going to be a big one. Oh, number 2 social media trend. I hope you all know this: gut health and functional nutrition. So focus on microbe support through stuff like intermittent fasting, fermented foods, and fiber-rich diets to combat digestive issues and boost immunity. Media spotlights research on gut-brain links and social buzz, including quitting processed GMO food and prevent lifestyle. Okay, so you understand that, because if you've been with me for a while, you've known we've been doing it for years. I got some gut microbiome people I'm working on. Oh my God. If you haven't worked with us on that piece, let me know. We have an awesome program. It's super fun to see the success that people are having and what you can actually do instead of having all these like crazy gut health conditions is worth it. Okay. So remember that. We got an office thing. Dr. Rachel and I work together on it, and it seems phenomenal. So really, really liking it. And we hope to keep going on different aspects of health and healing. But I know gut health is my number one that I must get people fixed on. So, other than their chiropractic misalignments, you'll be good. All right. Ooh, this one's good. The number 3 this week was adaptogens, ashwagandha, NAD+. We've talked about that a little bit. And cellular therapies aim to extend healthy lifespans. Outlets predict high-tech aging interventions alongside low-tech habits like daily movement, moderate drinking, adding years to your life. Okay. Magnesium, collagen, colostrum. Colostrum is an interesting one. That's like, colostrum is kind of like the baby milk. So it's, if you think of it that way, it's got tons of fortification, and they get this from, I think, don't quote me on this, but I believe these are from like cows or, those kind of situations. Colostrum. Let me look that up. Okay, sorry about that. I like to yeah, so this is so they get this from goats, dairy, but it's the first 24 to 72 hours of milk, basically, for like an infant cow. So And in breastfeeding, it's the same way. Colostrum is like just super packed with nutrients. And so a lot of times that's a really good one to think about. We'll probably have to do a whole day of it. Or probably do a whole health or 1% tribe on that one. That'd be interesting. But collagen, it's up in the air. I still don't know if that's the good one compared to. So a lot of times you're looking at collagen, chondroitin, and glucosamine, right? So you hear those names quite a bit for joint health. I'm not convinced compared to bone broth, like a good bone broth that you make yourself from a slow cooked chicken or a slow cooked whatever it is. Making that broth and then doing that broth has the bone, it has the collagen, it has all the ingredients to create those things. So that's where I'm at. The adaptogens, if you haven't seen that, we've done talks on adaptogenic herbs, and these are ones that in basics, an adaptogen is something that takes all the systems of your body and kind of adapts them to back to normalize them, getting back into that really good state of like the good metabolism, the good, all those things. And ashwagandha is one of the biggest ones in that. So it's nice to see that still trending highly. I like that. So it's probably just because of us. I mean, I'm up to 70 people on Rumble. I mean, how could it not be us trending? I mean, seriously. All right. So, all right. So let's see. Let's see. I think, yeah, I will go through this one. Okay. So holistic integration of ancient modalities. So ancient ones, because I actually had this conversation today. Ayurvedic medicine, which is a very old, kind of like Chinese medicine, a little different. Sound therapy, Qigong. Qigong is a movement pattern, kind of like Tai Chi, if you think that way. Yoga. They're resurging for mind body balance. Indian media notes a culture revival of Amidic work life. Amid hectic work life. Okay. Amid a hectic work life. This is all messed up. Sorry. Promote these in daily rituals, essential oils, gua sha, which is actually something we perform at the office. It's essentially using a tool and scraping the scar tissue of a damaged area. Fantastic therapy that's out there. So all of these are good. The big one that I'm hoping to find out, I cannot remember her name. She showed me there's a lady like near us that does or has the Tibetan bowls. The Tibetan bowls are really, really cool. So they do these and you've seen them on people. Vibration is one of the keys to health. Okay. So vibration, what you listen to, certain hertz frequencies. We've done one on vibration. I probably should revisit it because it's been a while. But frequencies are a very, very healthy situation. Not much is said about them, to be honest with you. So one of the things that I always push is like, if we can try these different therapies, tuning forks are a fantastic one. So how the Tibetan bowls work is sometimes they place you're laying on your stomach and they'll place the bowl on your body, and then they'll actually hit it or do this, like go around the circle and make the vibration happen within the bowl. That bowl then kind of expands and that vibration like enters your body. It works. It does. Frequencies do. That's one reason we have the cold laser that we have. Laser is kind of a tough scenario because it's light frequency. Okay. So sound frequency is fantastic, but light frequency is just as good. Frequency allows your cells to regenerate. That's why cold laser works so well, because what happens is it sends this laser, it throws this light frequency into an area. And once it does that, it kind of stimulates the area. I call it like, poor man's stem cells, where you're not like injecting the stem cells in, but you're literally producing your own stem cells. One of the things that's really cool about yoga, meditation, just different kinds of practices, biofield practice, can be fantastic. Man, I'm going to try to reach out. I got this one lady that's really, really good in showing you the biofield practice itself. And so I might try to grab her because she's really, really good at it. Just showing you, like, moving with the rhythm of the music, trying to get that feeling of like when you get the chills or you get like your hair stand up on your end, you're doing this biofield practice, right? When you're talking about something that just can be so healthy, you're literally improving your own stem cells, which is fantastic. Okay. So that's something to be said. The sound therapy, and one of my patients and I talked today on that, like the different frequencies that are really good, the music patterns that are there. In holistic, we even know, like, sometimes there are actually like musicians that sit in a bad frequency, and the bad frequency, it's interesting because I wouldn't say this. So let's say there's like a darker, let's say there's like darker music, so deeper, darker stuff. When people are attracted to that, I think typically, there's something that's they like the negative energy of that. Some music is set at a certain frequency or hertz that is enlightening or energizing. You can feel it yourself a lot of times. A lot of those rhythmic things have those type of things, and it does always affect your cells. One of the things I learned a long time ago, and this is why I knew it was true, is how does an MRI work? People don't even know how this thing works. A MRI is a giant magnet. And this giant magnet, and all of our cells are polarized. Okay. So we lay in an MRI, and that magnet turns on. When the magnet turns on, the cells of our body start to try to move around, like they're activated. They get energy. Okay. The noise that people hear, the click, is the MRI the magnet turning off, and they're taking a picture simultaneously. So what happens is as the magnet turns off, the cells move back to their normal position, and then we take a picture. What's weird about that, and I've heard this many, many times, is that people report that they actually feel better than they did when they went into the MRI. And a lot of times, I believe it's the cellular movement. Once they get those cells kind of shaken up, or movement with frequency, like a magnetic wave going through, then a lot of times you will feel better for a moment, right? That's why I believe in the ancient times when we had churches that had giant bells, that's why you felt really good. There's some things that say in these beautiful old churches that if you go and just sit in there, you'll feel it's like if you did blood work before and did blood work after, you'd actually be healthier, just based on the sounds of the beautiful bells and all those kind of things. Isn't that interesting? I think we need more bells in our lives. It's fantastic. And we're getting close to Christmas. So if you find a church, we went one time because our church doesn't have a bell service, but one of my chiropractic buddies had, he's like, come to our one. So we went down to Coldwater, and they had a bell service, and he was part of it. And it was magnificent. You wouldn't think bells would be so cool, but once done properly, it was so beautiful, right? So that's the kind of stuff. Remember the sound therapy. That'll be a good one. All right. So now that we're on to that, let's go into some of the Dr. Mercola's good stuff for this week. So remember, Dr. Mercola, he is probably the number one guy for news in the holistic world. I would say there might be a couple out there, but this guy spans the gauntlet. He's a medical doctor that kind of hits up. Me and him don't agree on some things, but there's a few things in here that I love. that he goes into. All right. Okay, let's go over this one because this one's good. Dr. Joe Mercola wrote this one. Endotoxins is a major driver of blood clotting, sepsis, heart attack, and stroke. Let's find out what an endotoxin is. An endotoxin is a toxic molecule released by bacteria in your gut, enters your bloodstream, and directly triggers blood clot formation, even in people with no signs of infection or heart disease. Researchers have shown that certain bacteria types, such as E. coli, are especially effective at setting off your body's clotting response, mimicking what happens during sepsis and other life-threatening events. Everyday habits that weaken your gut barrier, including eating seed oils, ultra-processed foods, and alcohol, or living under chronic stress, make endotoxin exposure common, keeping your blood in a primed state to clot. Okay. So hopefully you guys are going where I'm going. Chronic low-grade exposure to bacterial toxins links gut health to cardiovascular problems, explaining why heart attacks, strokes, and clotting disorders often strike people who appear healthy. Supporting your gut with easier-to-digest foods, antioxidants like niacinamide and vitamin E, and natural binders such as raw carrot salad or activated charcoal helps neutralize endotoxin and keeps your blood flowing freely. The overall thing on this article is get your gut microbiome in check. Whatever you have to do, that is one of your goals. We know we eat crap. It's been proven. Half the stuff, I mean, we're out of 20, I think we're on 2 that we've gotten out of the food system that is garbage. Like, there's in America, there are 20 ingredients in our food that in our processed food that are illegal in many other countries. Okay. So we've gotten rid of like 2. Okay. So we still have 18 more. So we're having gut microbiome problems, guys. So we have to start taking care of that. It's more than just feeling like crap. It's literally leads you to stuff that occurs. That is a big one, especially in alcoholics as well. Alcohol is severely toxic to your gut and liver, right? So liver has 2 different processes, okay, to detox something. You have like a phase 1 and a phase 2 type process to get rid of toxins. Okay. So liver is there to process toxins or heavier stuff like fats and meat. The liver has to work. The problem is like something like alcohol does this major, like it's a big job for the liver to do. And so if it's constantly working that, it's constantly getting hit by these poisons, essentially, where it has to convert it to where it's not a poison. That's what the phase 1 and phase 2 are in the liver, is to get that. Imagine that. The human body has like a detox center. So we make our own detox center, and it's the liver. But the problem is if you keep throwing crap in that causes the problem, which is what we do with fake sugars, all of these things, especially alcohol, that's the one you see it the most pronounced, then your liver, or smoking cigarettes, that's another one that gets your liver going in crazy because it's all the smoke and the toxin that goes in there. It has to process it so it's not toxic to the rest of your body. If we're making our liver run on overtime, then eventually we get problems, right? So just remember, your gut microbiome is critical to the health of everything. And now they're linking that to cardiovascular situations. So just remember, it's one of those things we want to always go after. Okay. All right. Let's go to. Okay. This one's a good one because I want to talk about just making sure you do different ones, because I recommend this quite a bit. And sometimes it's not that you don't want to do it all the time. Okay. And there's always a fight in dietary stuff. So this article is done by Dr. Mercola again. Studies raise questions about keto's impact on liver and heart health. While short-term ketogenic diets may aid weight loss, new research links prolonged ketosis to liver stress, impaired insulin secretion, and cardiovascular problems. Long-term fat resilience increases circulating free fatty acids burdening the liver, disrupting glucose regulation and weakening metabolic flexibility, key factors in overall energy stability and heart health. Elevated liver enzymes and triglyceride levels on keto indicate hepatic overload. Okay, the signals that the body is struggling to manage excess fat turnover and oxidation. And this is what I recommend as well all the time, because it works well, because it gets rid of things, right? You're never allergic typically to any kind of fat or meat. So by detoxing your body from everything else and going into this ketogenic diet, you can really start feeling well. The problem is long term, you're stressing out your liver like you would if you drank every day, because fat and meat are harder to process. Much better to eat, like live off of, but harder to process. So treat keto as a short-term metabolic intervention, not a lifestyle diet. Gradually reintroduce whole food carbohydrates to support steady energy, hormonal balance, and overall metabolic health. Okay, so that article is pretty critical in what you need to understand going forward, because in the ketogenic world, it's a short-term but really, really effective way to do it. Same with intermittent fasting. It's short-term because you don't want your body stressed in any way either. Ketogenic allows the carbohydrates, especially fake carbos. So think about carbohydrates as like if you have a bunch of junk carbohydrates, right? So let's say we're eating donuts in the morning, 8 different cereal things, like all those things are loading your body with carbs that are not good for the rest of your body. They're easy to digest, so that's why people do them, right? That's why people are addicted to carbs, because it's easy on the body. It's, they're very good. The food scientists are very, very good at it. But one of the biggest problems is like when you go back to meat and fat, as you process it, it's harder. So your body feels that. So you're not like craving it much because your body doesn't want to work that hard. Right. So then what you do is you get rid of all the carbs, the crap carbs that are in there, and you bring in this keto, which is nice, good fats, meats, those water, those kind of things. Once you do that, you can do it for a while, but we just don't want to overload our system, right? We don't want to overload our liver going crazy trying to, do this keto thing for a long, long time, because it then processes that, right? So makes sense. I would say just be wise about these things. There's always a fight in dietary world. Is it, is keto the best? Is paleo the best? Is whatever, right? It doesn't really matter. The one thing that matters is all natural, make sure you got carbs. God didn't put the plants on this earth with a bunch of properties that are really, really good for you to have us not eat them. Okay. So just remember that, because I have some people that get stuck. They feel so good on keto that they don't understand they're kind of messing themselves up. Oh, let's see. Oh, I like this one. Let's end on some positives here. Jeez. I always give you guys like negative ones, but this one's good. I like this. So this one is Dr. Mercola again. Carrot fiber. So the carrot, right? It boosts gut health and strengthens immune defenses. It says here, carrots are more than a colorful side dish. New research shows that their unique fiber acts like a precision prebiotic that strengthens your gut, boosts your immune defenses, and even protects your organs. Let's find out a little bit about that. Carrot fiber contains a unique compound called RGI. that works in small amounts to strengthen your gut and immune defenses. Even 300 to 500 milligrams daily of this RGI was shown to boost beneficial bacteria, improve stool consistency, and activate immune cells that fight viruses. Carrot fiber helps your gut microbes produce protective compounds that lower inflammation and shield organs like your brain, heart, and liver from damage. At the same time, it reduces harmful byproducts linked to asthma, fatty liver disease, cancer risk, shifting your microbiome towards a healthier balance. Preparing your gut first by calming the inflammation makes carrot fiber even more effective, and as it then feeds butyrate producing bacteria that repair and protect your intestinal lining. So apparently tonight's all about the gut health. So carrots sound like something I'm going to introduce and invite into everybody's diet, because anything that acts like a prebiotic. What is a prebiotic? So there's a probiotic, which is the actual bacteria. It's a bacteria. Okay. So a probiotic is literally a bacteria that you're ingesting. Okay. If it's a bacteria, that means it's alive. If it's alive, it means it needs food to survive. A prebiotic is exactly that. How does a probiotic eat? A probiotic eats with fiber. Okay, so it eats the fiber. Now, some probiotics have fiber within the probiotic itself, and they call that the prebiotic. And you need that because you want these bacteria to survive, in the entire process. So carrots sound like, if I was a person, I would, like I'm going to do it. Hilariously, my kid, or my youngest kid, eats them like crazy. I'm like, slow down, kid. Like she'll eat a carrot like just sitting there, right? And most of us have done that, and we do it. And there's a reason, because it's a nice root vegetable. It's fantastic. It tastes good. There's a lot to that. Even a soft one, I would say a cooked carrot could be really, really good, especially if you have gut problems. You'll want to not eat a raw carrot as much. Soft cooked is okay at first, just because it's hard to digest if you have like IBS or Crohn's or those type of conditions where your gut is not the greatest. But carrots can be fantastic. So it sounds like it's a really good prebiotic, and you can grow them pretty easy around me in Michigan. I know, because we grew a ton of them. I put way too many seeds, and Rachel rolled her eyes. I put way too many seeds in the ground where the carrots were. So we had a crap ton of really small carrots, but they are delicious. I like that. Okay. So we'll do one more article tonight. Let's do this one because it's a little off the thing, because we need to start doing that because now it's getting colder out. Just give you some more motivation to get your butt moving. Like, so a lot of my retired people, when it gets cold out, if they're not gone to Florida or somewhere, they stop being active. Right. And so we need to keep that activity going. Right. And so a lot of times, we're pretty active during the summer and the spring and all those kind of things. When it starts getting fall and winter, we start really locking down, start not being as active. So this one's on that. So this is by Dr. Mercola again. Exercise helps rewire your brain to break free from the internet addiction. Okay. Internet addiction weakens the brain regions that control focus and decision making, leaving you more vulnerable to stress, anxiety, poor sleep, and compulsive scrolling. Exercise acts like a reset button, directly strengthening your brain's control systems, balancing stress hormones, and restoring healthy dopamine release so you feel more in charge of your choices. Different exercises target different benefits. The foot bike training, so like a bicycle, boosts impulse control. Swimming activates self-control centers. Ooh, this is interesting. Let's go through this one more time. A foot bike will get rid of, like biking will boost the impulse control area of your brain. Swimming activates the self-control centers of your brain. Basketball improves attention and quick decision making while offering social rewards. That's pretty cool. I didn't know there was a link like that. See, that's why I love this. I learned stuff as well. Mind-body practice such as mindfulness, yoga, tai chi, and dance sport. No, let me finish this part. So mind-body practices such as mindfulness, yoga, tai chi, and dance sport reduce cravings and help you replace digital rewards with healthier real-world engagement that supports both emotional balance and motivation. Simple tools like writing out cravings without acting on them, savoring positive movement experiences, and linking activity to personal values trains your brain to crave movement instead of screen time, making change both easier and more sustainable. I got a hilarious one. Once they said a dance sport, I had to do it. So my youngest daughter is big right now into plays like how musicals, right? And I cannot get over. I showed her. I was like, man, Lexi, she's watching West Side Story all the time. I'm like, man, you got to go back and watch the original West Side Story. I've always wanted to be in a gang that you snap your fingers. And that is how you get rid of the other gang. And she starts laughing. So we started watching the cool old West Side Story, movies and all those kind of things. But she's like pretty much addicted to them. She goes, I think she's watched Hamilton. She goes, Hamilton's amazing, but West Side Story still so good. So I may have an actor on my hands. I don't know. We'll see how that works. But well, thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I apologize again for the later time frame. But get with me on 1% Tribe this Sunday. I don't know what we're going to talk about. It's it's a condition. So I think I got it figured out. We're going to talk about sinuses. Partly as a real world explanation. Dr. Rachel got her first, Julie would appreciate this, got her first reason she needed some stinging nettles. So where Rachel's from, they didn't do a lot of leaves. They had normal leaf, maybe not even rake them, right? Because she had a lot of pine trees around where she lived. So there wasn't a lot of leaf raking. This year, we decided, because we live out in the country a little bit, like we always got our leaves done for years. And we're like, maybe we'll just do them ourselves this year because my kid's not, they're doing stuff, but they're not young and we have to run everywhere, right? So we started doing them, got a leaf blower. And so Rachel got this leaf blower. And I swear to you, when she gets onto a task, it's like 4 hours later. She's still going. So she's loving this backpack leaf blower, blowing everything around. The problem I didn't tell her is your immune system's very, very powerful thing. And if you haven't done that and you start blowing these leaves and all these weird allergens start floating in the air on the leaf blowing aspect, you're going to fill your head with a bunch of garbage that your sinuses are going to have a really hard time with. So she ended up with like the death warmed over headache from, she didn't know what the heck was happening. She thought she was dying and it sucked because she was hurting so bad. So that's when, this holistic guy will go right to medicine. She's like, what do you need? Whatever we got to do to get you there. We'll fix all the gut stuff later, but we got to get you feeling like a normal person again. So today was her first day of like really feeling well, but her head from those seasonal allergies were just crazy whooped on her. Right. So we did all the cool holistic stuff. It was just overload on this stuff. But it was kind of ironic. I did stinging nettles the week of when she started feeling like absolute garbage, which was Sunday. So with that said, guys, I appreciate you guys all. Don't forget to go on Rumble, subscribe on YouTube, The Prize Inside A Chiropractor Journey on podcasting, Prize Inside on Rumble, tribe1.substack.com will get you the emails back and forth. So any of these places would be fantastic. If you forget, come to Myers Chiropractic Clinic. There's a new little podcast link, and it has all the links there, so that you can watch, and it's just to watch them to see if there's something you missed or if there's something we covered that you'd like to hear again. So with that said, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will talk to you on Sunday. Have a good night.